Alright, time for another episode of our series Alex Learns HTMX. The last time what we did was refactoring tests, and we ended up in a point where I was thinking to refactor some more and to extract a model for our list. A model that would allow us to actually make some interesting changes and simplify the tests even more. We were happy with the tests because they were much simpler, but it was time to look at simplifying a bit more. So let's see a bit. I did some work once again offline. I tried to figure out how to make this work, and let's see what I was thinking. First of all, I thought about adding this class to-do list model. It has a name, the items, and the add label. It has a constructor. I need an equal on it, because in that way we can actually check with assert equal, compare two of those. And I need to implement repro, because this will allow us to get a nice message in case the assertion fails. And what I've done is I've added a toolist model in our homepage class, and this returns an instantiation of this class. And I've also initialized this here, and the assert list model is. And now what I have is an assert equal on model. Now what's very interesting about this is I don't actually need to have it here anymore. I can most likely do it like this, because now it's easier. But let's see for a moment. And if I'm running these tests, they actually work. so this is good. And now this turns into a nice test, because I have a clear, list model. I can even extract it if I really want to, and or if I want to have it templated somehow, like first list becomes, we define a variable that stores it, or a constant. That is definitely possible, right? But I quite like this. And what I wanted to do is to first to see if this fails correctly. So let's say this is something else. Will this look nice now? This is the question. Will we have a nice error message? Okay, assertion error to do first list items add label different than to do list first list items add label. Not the nicest message. I'd love to see it telling us precisely what's wrong, but I guess we can live with it. So I would replace this with assert list model is, and now this would be expected list model, expected list model, model, and actually it would be kind of the initial one. This can be a constant, right? Normally I would expect this to be a constant that's used, but maybe it's nice to see it here. So here what we have is, okay, we can have expected list model, to-do list model, first list, item 1, and new item. And the and the add item, and this becomes self assert list model is self homepage expected list model. Why do I have two opening brackets? I don't know. Make tests. Cool. So we made this one work. So I can remove this one. And now we have a nice range act assert. And now, you know what? I will extract this. Tested second item to first list, and the expected becomes new item and new item once again. And we make this twice, and we do this, we remove this, and now I should have range act assert, range act assert. Okay, we have 3 now. I'm still a bit annoyed by this unclosed socket, which apparently happens for every one of our calls. This is a bit weird. All right, I'm still gonna ignore it for now, but I'm not happy with it. Okay, so now the question is, I think we can parameterize this test, and so there are, I think we can have Python sequence, if I remember correctly. We can have something like, yeah, but what I want is actually maybe a range. Maybe not a sequence, but a range. Python range. Let's see, we have a range of 6. Okay, well, I would really love to be able to create ranges automatically, and I thought that there was a way. Because, well, you'll see in a minute what I want to do. But I guess we don't have that, so range function returns for x in range. Okay, so if this is range of something, cool. So we can have, well, I don't actually need a for. I will need for each. Do we even have for each in, or just, I just need a cycle basically. So maybe Python each. For each loop, yeah. For I, okay. For I, okay. For, okay. For list item, right. For each loop, range of the loop. So how is this for each? Is for in. Ah, right. So for in is a kind of a for each. Got it. For index in range of 2. And this. So I'm okay when I have a repeated action in the range part. I am not okay when I have a repeated action in as the whole test. Or maybe as the whole test also. Well, we'll see how we can simplify it. We try to avoid loops as much as possible in tests. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. All right, because this will be in range of 1. And what I really love to do is to make some parameterized tests in Python. So let's see if we can do, I don't think I've ever done this with the unit test in Python. Python unit test parameterized test cases. We actually need to, parameterized, dynamic enough. Here's a class. Now, I'd rather use something that works with the standard. I guess we could switch to nose, but okay, data driven, what is blah blah blah. Data driven testing using unit test in Python. To skip, we'll use run or xweb test it, whatever. There's one in parameterized module, okay. Next we'll create that. All right. So basically it uses the parameterized module, right? That's what they are trying to tell me. Test the projects page. I think that's a better thing to do. Parameterized testing for nose, PyTest, unit test. Okay, so it's actually doing the same. That's nice. So we need to install Parameterized and we need to use this. Cool. So let's see. I think I will drop for a moment to another one of these profiles. Okay. Pip and install Parameterized. And this should sort out the dependencies for us. And while this is happening, let's quickly check. Yeah, so as I expected, we need to pass in, so we'd have 3 parameterized expand, and yeah, and we need to add these variables. So pretty good. Deactivate this. What is this? It's dangerous. What is going on here? Installing collect packages is dangerous. All right, so I'm gonna quickly check out what this is about. All right, and I'm back. So I'm not exactly sure why this package is used, but apparently it's dangerous, allows you to safely pass data to untrusted environments and back. Now I don't know precisely who is using this, but I guess we are not passing any weird thing, any important thing to this script anyway. So it's a bit weird, right? I imagine that perhaps Selenium is using this, but I don't know. Might be an update. I will ignore it for now and see whether we can use parameterized here. So what I would like to do is to use parameterized of so not this, parameterized. So we need this with expand. As far as I know, this usually in other similar libraries it creates a better view if you use the expand, because it will run each test separately. So basically this will be test empty list created, whatever, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this will be, I don't need this here, but I need this here. And if one test fails, you know precisely which test is failing. So what do we need here? We need, let's keep first list. We'll need the count. And we'll need the count and the items. Right? So basically, if we have 1, we'll have items, we'll have 2, and we'll have items, and we'll have 3, and we'll have items. I imagine we'll need to import something for parameterized as well. So let's see, here the items will be item 1, new item. Here items will be item 1, new item, new item. And then item 1, new item, new item. Okay. Let's do that. And let's do that. Cool. And this will be, okay, this will be the count. Count. And here we will have items. And if this works, then we won't need the second one. But for now, what we'd like to see is for parameterized to, okay, not you. What do we need to import? From parameterized import. Okay. And why do we need parameterized class? What is this doing? Tested self.a. Oh, interesting. Nice. That's actually nice. All right. We'll just use parameterized for now. No need for the other thing. And now if everything works fine, then we should see, okay, an indent. So we have line 17. Line 17. Right, because I've changed that. Cool. I can also reformat everything in Vim. In case you don't know this, I know that, but I don't actually remember right now the... Oh, I think I remember the command. But I guess I need more practice with it. Okay, so what's going on here? Assertion error, item, new item, new item, item, new item. Tested item to first. Right, but do we know? Okay, so I'm curious, before we move on, what I'd like to understand is whether we need to do, I mean, if we can have the names better expressed. What I mean by this, in Groovy, for example, with parameterized tests, you can format the name of the test using these parameters. Now let's see, I'm not sure this is possible here. Okay, this is also nose tests with py.test with unittest. Test floor, so I can see the tests because unit tests, only tests created with expand will be executed, right? That's not a problem. exhaustive usage. Param 10 expecting, okay. For line in open, right. Test class methods. Custom name function. Create new method on the test class. If the first parameter is the string, that string will be added. Okay, so that's actually an easy one. We can have a string here, and that will be added to the name. Add once, and let's format it. I'm not sure how it comes. Add once, twice, add 3 times. Now let's see, because normally I would be able to see which method is failing. So we have 3 that are failing. Forward given. Oh, all right. So I guess we need to have a parameter that's not used. Description that we actually don't use for anything else. I don't quite like these kinds of things because once again it's clutter, so I have an extra argument that I'm not using, and yeah, not so happy with that. Okay, so add 3 times. How many tests are failing actually? Errors 3. Errors 3. Add 3 times, says item, new item, new item. And I only have new item, new item. Why? Who knows? Off by 1 error, most likely. Failures 1, okay. Okay, add once, type error, okay. Add twice, so these are previous calls. And we started here, add 3 times, so now it's only failing for add 3 times. It only has 2. So to-do list. But of course. All right. So it's good when the test is telling you that you are not that smart at that moment. Actually, the tests were correct. I was wrong. You know, that works. Unclosed socket. I don't like the unclosed socket. Good. So what this means is that basically we don't need this. And in theory we could even, why not? So this would be, no. Add none, 0, and then item 1. Let's see, does this work? Because if this works, then we've basically refactored all our tests to templated tests, and it's great. I like parameterized tests. And after all, what are we doing? 0, 1, 2 more. Cool. So, where are we now? Actually, we don't need this anymore. I think we can inline this. So we don't need this anymore. And let's remove this empty line. And now basically we've removed all types of duplication, except that we have some errors in our code, but we'll fix them soon enough. I think I forgot something. Self.homepage, yeah, something around those lines. List model is not defined. Expected list, yeah. Expected list model, okay. Now let's run this, and I think this concludes our test refactoring. The only thing I'd really love to solve is the unclosed socket. So we've run 4 tests. Yeah, that checks out. Okay, now let's do write git commit refactor to parameterized tests. Oh, 4. Okay, and then do a git push. And this should conclude our... What is going on? Oh, we also have a few more adds. Okay, git add. Oh my god. Of course you need git add dot. Add parameterized library. Let's see the status. Okay, git push. All right, that works. Excellent. So kind of cool. Our tests are now smaller, and okay, we have some helper classes, but these classes will be very useful when we want to do things like editing and other things like that. And now we can actually test these things. Let me quickly try something. So I think that we might need to do close in the home page. All right. So I'll just quickly check what I need precisely to do and come back. And I'm back, and I actually figured it out. I think I missed something in the library when I initially, well, in the documentation that I found. But basically what you need to do is to call quit on the driver, and there's an easy way to do that you can add in setup, add self, add cleanup, self driver.quit, and this will basically call quit on the driver in the end. So with this we have nicer test output, and I will show you immediately, but before we do that, I'd also like to show you that I made another change in the make file. I've added -v at the end here to make sure that we get a nicer output. Now, I'm not sure I'll keep this output, but I kind of like it. I mean, I like to see the test names if possible when they are running. And now it shows us, running the first test, add none, add once, add twice. It's a bit nicer, we know what's happening. But as you can see, no more warnings, it actually runs perfectly. So, great. Let's add everything. Git status, make file and test end-to-end, okay. Git commit, and now what I like to say, so what did we do? We clean up the test result report. Oh, I have to stop doing that. Okay. Git status, and okay, we can push. Perfect. So now we are at this point where we have our tests nice and clean. We could also extract these classes, move them to their own files. I want to do that, maybe. I don't know. Let's see how easy it is. So we'll have home page. I'll just split, switch to this, test, and vim homepage.py, and this is a class, and I'm not sure whether I will need something more. Maybe something about the system. And now the one thing that I never know how to do is how to refer that class. I think we need to import homepage. Let's see. Error. Yeah. So I think we need to import homepage somehow. I'm curious now what will be the output at the end. Okay, so it's telling me homepage is not defined. Homepage, port homepage. It might sound strange, but I actually don't know. Okay, no module named homepage. Import homepage. Fingers crossed. No module named homepage. All right, so I'm not sure how to import from the current directory, right? I know how to import from other. Let me quickly check. And I'm back. And it turns out that actually I can import from test.homepage, import homepage. This works because we already have a module for test. And that was correct. But the next problem is that when I'm running the tests, you can see that we have some issues here, that by is not defined, because I actually didn't include, I didn't import the Selenium dependency, which is needed. So what I need to do is to, and I think that actually all the Selenium dependencies move into, well, not all of them, WebDriver is still needed here. But other than that, everything that's with finding things actually moves to homepage. So I'm gonna do a vertical split switch to the recording thingy, do this, and test/homepage, and paste this class. Okay, let's make this smaller so that we can actually see what's going on, and let's try to make test and see what's the output. Okay, so we still have an error. What are we missing? We're missing driver from Selenium. We imported keys. To-do list model is not defined. Cool. Right, because I also needed to-do list model. And I should have extracted this one first. Okay, we'll do from test.to-do list model, import to-do list model. I'm gonna place this on top, and I'm gonna get out of here and vim test to-do list model dot py, and I'm gonna take this and move it here. And looking quickly through this doesn't seem to have any other dependencies, right? I think this is all we need. And I think we also need to add another dependency from test.to-do list model, import to-do list model. And if we do make test, this should work in principle. Unless we missed, once again, something really obvious. As you got used with me by now, right? I keep missing things that are obvious. I guess we all are. Cool. All tests are passing. Clean things up a bit. I think we don't need this. I think we don't need this. I think we still need Firefox options, parameterized. I'd love to move this on top. Selenium import, all right. And just do a bit of good. I think that's good. Make test. Let's see that everything is working. And if all this works, then I will just commit, and I think I will stop here for now, because our next step will be very interesting. Git status. All right. Git add dot. Let's also do right. Git status. We have 2 new files and 1 modified. Git commit. Extract. Test. Well, page object and list model into own files. Ooh. Cool. And let's do another, again, status git push. Actually, perhaps one more thing that we could do is work a bit with this model and see how we can change things. So what I like to do is to remove this. Okay, we don't need this anymore, don't need this anymore. I think we kind of have what we need. And play a bit with this thing. I would also like to have a way to edit this to-do list. Let's make it bigger so that you can see it easier. I like to edit this. So I can either have an edit button or have a click. when I click on this item, then it changes and then I can actually modify it. It would be nice to do it inline, right? And a bit more interesting, I guess. We can use the button, but it's probably cooler to just do it inline. So let's see if we can write a test for this. Let's copy this. And what would we need? Test edit first item of first list. We don't have this for now. I don't think we'll need this. I don't think we'll need 4. And I don't think we'll have a click item. Click first item of first list. And then self-assert equal that. Actually, what we want to do is to change that. So so actually I will have an expected list model. Expected list model would be first list milk. I have no other good idea for for this. Add item. All right. I guess we could also do that on the header because we already have the header. But I kind of like doing this on the item. Well, we can go either way, but it's kind of, yeah, I'll do it on the item. Click first item of first list, and then we'd like to kind of, well, actually, instead of click, what about edit first item of first list to be milk? And then homepage to, yeah. So this should work. Now, this is not implemented in a homepage. So I need to quickly implement this in homepage. If I'm running make test, I should have 4 tests working and the 5th one failing. Now these tests are starting to be a bit slow. I said in the beginning that I won't care too much, but 20 seconds? Yeah, don't quite like it. Okay, so we need to do this. Let's quickly split vertically, recording profile, vim, test / homepage. Oh, I said vim. Why don't you write what I want to write? Not what I'm typing. Jeez. Add it. First item of first list. Okay. So we have click add item. We have this. Edit first item of first list. Now let's make sure that we implement this. So what we'd like to do, if I remember correctly, let's see which. This is li. It doesn't have an ID. So we'd have to pick it by the first li. I think we have the items and then I can click on it. I remember correctly. Yeah, we have first list items. First list items 0 dot click. Okay, we'll just do first item equals this. I think it's safer. First item dot click, and then first, that would be interesting. How do you deal? I guess it will switch. Oh, it will switch with the hidden input. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so we'll have something like first item dot text equals, and I have to pass in the new text. New text. And then I guess we need to save somehow. First item dot, okay. No idea how to make this work. So I guess we'll go into experimentation mode. But let's see, if I run the tests, what's happening? My guess is that one test will fail. I mean, one way to make this test run fast, it would be to actually run only the test that we care about for now. But I actually like my tests to be fast, so yeah, I can set attribute, and this will fail. And so what I'd like to do is to add here experiment to see how experiment with this interaction and not with double. You're not in Java or C. To test it. Okay. So save this, close, and for now I'd like to ignore this. I think that if I'm just doing this, it will ignore it. It's not the thing I like the most because it looks nice, but you can miss this kind of things. I'd rather have all my tests running. But if this works, I'll actually add a comment on top so that I can see which test I'm gonna work on the next time. Yeah, so this is actually ignoring, and let's add the comment ignored to do for next time. Yes. Cool, cool, cool. So we actually did some good work. Let me quickly add everything. Git commit, add failing test. No, don't do that. Stop doing that, Alex. Git push. Let's actually check quickly the status here. Git push. All right. That's it for now. And with refactor tests, I love my tests now, except that they are quite slow. I knew this would be a downside of using Selenium and using end-to-end tests. Perhaps there's a way to make them run faster, maybe using the Chrome driver or another browser. But the tests themselves are really nice, and I can actually add a new type of test very easily. I can work with the page object model and with the list model. I quite like this. I'm happy. I also love that this is working so easily. I mean, let me quickly show you once again, just for the sake of it. Let's quickly clean this up. So when I'm running add item, I'm actually sending all the items and I'm receiving this with new item. And now I'm running an item again. The request is precisely with the two ones and the response is what you can see. And it keeps going like this. So it's really, really fun if I'm going, you know, here, here, here. And I can have some logic on the server to add things. Now, we've discussed that this is perhaps not an interesting pattern in production for various reasons. I find it more like a curiosity than something useful, but I'm here to try out things, so why not? Why not trying out this kinds of stuff? All right. This is it for now. I think we had some fun, and I think that it shows that you can play around with these things and learn quite a few things. I mean, I've learned parameterized testing. I've remembered how to use page model and page object and how to use parameterized tests in Python. I love it. Of course, main goal was learning htmx, but you never learn only one thing. Hope you love it too. See you soon.